Why? To us, not because of power, because of knowledge, because of influence. Like baby, everybody is serving baby. Father, mother, and other people serving him, her. This doesn't display his power, his knowledge. Man is like a baby universe. Everything is helping us because of our beings. The order of I think aeroplane, aeroplane displays our beings, not our.
So we can fly, but we can do that.
Like baby has power or not?
One aspect is understandable. Yeah, we get so proud. We show like human challenge the nature. We take it like
Apparently,
yeah, but in reality, the whole creation or existence is supporting him to survive. Just survive, and they're serving him, not taking him as rivals. This is a reality if we look at it in a larger perspective. But still, maybe my human ego doesn't take it. How come I can't make good work, positive action as much as a spider or I don't know a bird?
because to create one thing, necessary whole universe. Whole universe. Man cannot create anything. Anything. Mobile phone, for example. What sort of things are necessary to work it? To make work and have universe. Of laws.
At this point, can I raise the question of if I see a civilization that has those large airplanes, where is their weakness? I see them flying, I see them using cell phones, I see them using all kinds of technology. But if we still claim that all these boundaries, all these technological miracles are due to our weaknesses, where is weakness?
I'm really curious about your question. Do you have an answer to your question?
I'm not sure. I can try.
Because technically, human beings are way better than animals in many respects. I mean, we are the Khalifa of the universe, right? So we can think better than them. We can create those things that we are not gifted with. Yeah, we can't fly, but we can come up with things that fly and leave the world, right? So in that sense, I think we are better than that. So it depends on what the criteria of being good in creation is. So if you think that, what is the good? So if good is what God desires and whatever we do isn't inaccurate with that, yeah, we're not doing a good job in there. But if good is something else, if good is creating a piece of art or an artifact, I think we're good at that.
Sorry.
Yeah, please.
Can you think this way? Maybe we can think of this in two realms. One is in the realm of needs, the second is in the realm of acquisitions. And in both, I think we can apply here. If you think in the realm of needs, which is how this the remark starts, right? Man's needs are infinite. As far as man's imagination goes, so does the needs of man. So if we have a formula, and the formula is what we do over what we need, right? So what we do divided by what we need, and we apply the same formula to any animal, right? Then, because the needs of the animals are limited, and what they do is comparable to what they need, they very well live in their paradise on this earth. Right? Some say that the world is a paradise of animals, right? Because what they do, what they are able to do, matches what they need. Whereas when we apply the same formula to mankind, what we do never matches what we need. Somebody, early 2000s, has started a journal called Happiness Studies. An economist, he got the Nobel Prize for this. What he was saying is this idea of a rational man is not valid. The mankind does not work to maximize its interests. Mankind works to maximize its happiness. And maximizing interest does not always maximize your happiness. The more you get, you are not the happier, right? So they started to look into what makes people happy in this journal, and I suppose it still must be continuing somewhere out there, right? So when we look from that point of view, because our needs are infinite, we are almost never able to match our needs. Therefore, when we apply the formula, what you do divided by what you need, you get a very small number, which is smaller than the number that you can get for the end. Another way to look at this is that we have this principle of acquisition. What we do does not automatically translate into what we acquire. What we acquire, again, as if we apply a formula, is what we do multiplied by the coefficient of our intentions. And the actions are according to intentions. That's not the case that we apply to the end. The end is not responsible for the end's intentions. And if you look at this, what I feel is being given as the example here is a man, a member of the mankind who is acting without faith, without relying on God, without bringing God into the picture, right? And trying to acquire things on his or her own. And when you do that, because you don't acquire what you do in a maximized way in the ultimate reality that's out there, what you acquire is something very small and sometimes negative. You can do all the good that's out there, but if you do it with a bad intention, what you acquire from that might be negative, right? In this larger, bigger picture, not in this world only, the temporal world only, but in the bigger picture of infinity, the hereafter, right? When you look at what you acquire there, what you acquire might be something very small, or even you might be giving away what you have.
This pretty much connects to the what he said before, right? So as he wants a flower, so he wants a spring. So the needs and the desires of human beings being infinite. Yeah, that's a good point, I think. Yeah.
Can we open up a little bit the acquiring part? What do you mean acquiring?
Might have some the principle is iktisad, right? Acquisition, iktisad. I might do, okay, one of us here might have given charity to 1,000 people last week. Like, I don't know, somebody very rich, $1,000 to 1,000 people, $1 million given out in charity. If this person gave it out because of ostentation, not for the pleasure of God, he acquired nothing from it. On the other hand, one person while coming here may have given $1 to a beggar out of the mercy that comes out of the heart and for God's pleasure, and that person may have gotten a lot from that $1, right? So if you think of the person who is disconnected from God, who is trying to do things on earth, what that person acquires from that in that ultimate realm of reality, right? Not in this temporal world, but in the ultimate realm of reality. On the day when what we have acquired will be put in front of us, right? What that person has acquired might be something very small that does not even match what an ant acquires from its existence in the, say, 3 months that it is in existence in one summer.
I have a question. Do you want me to go ahead? Do you want to go ahead? Okay, so my question is about that example about the charities. Someone gives charity, some $1 million to some people, right? And he doesn't know God, but he's not a person who has this pride and boasting either. I was wondering if you think that there's a difference between them. So this is a question about whether the truth, hakikat, is just within what we have, or is it beyond that end? So is it someone who's not a Muslim, who doesn't know Allah the way that we know, but he has something?
Ultimately, he needs to give some credit to something. someone or something. To whom should give the credit?
I don't know. But he's doing charity, he's being helpful to people, he's contributing as best as he can, except that he doesn't know.
If you think you are the agent in the charity, giving charity.
He's not taking pride, he's not taking boast, like he's not doing it for...
That's defined as taking pride as giving credit to some agent in this action. You may not see it in the behavior, but in the understanding, you can give credit to yourself.
Maybe.
But you may not show it to others.
There's always a problem with agents.
And you always have to find an agent for any action or any event happening. The question is who is this agent?
I guess this is
So
It's a difference.
in animals case, then the acquisition or the giving the credit part is not there. So they are doing it they're just doing it as a worship with the God-given abilities, and then their fitra, their nature knows that this is not what I'm doing by myself. This is by given abilities. But the human conscience, he owns it, so he kind of sees the action, or he just kind of wrongfully owns it, so kind of makes it negative.
It may. I mean, it depends on what the intention is. We cannot know each person's intention. But if the intention is disconnected from God, right, even when you assume, even when you think you are doing good, you might be acquiring evil.
It could be something like you give a kid a bicycle, and he's supposed to go home with that. And then you give a man a spaceship to go to space, but the man goes to home with that. So it's pretty much connected to your first example, where the expectations and the limitations of human beings are quite different from that of animals. And if you don't use them to its full extent, as it's supposed to be used, then you may be doing bad. Yes, you used the spaceship to go somewhere, but that wasn't the place that you were supposed to go. I don't know if this supports your...
I need to process it, sorry.
Oh,
So for the let's talk about this great fruit of civilization, or the acts that we think, oh, these are magnificent, good, great, well. So how do we take that? Can we a little bit ponder upon those things?
First of all, for me, seeing cell phone for granted, or an airplane, if I take it for granted, it is actually not taking an apple for granted. So the same way, I might be seeing a technological miracle to be my right to have. I can do the same thing with Apple or anything. So if my perspective is narrow and I only look at the current time and I do not look at past and the future of that specific boundary, it is very easy for me to fall into unbelief, or I may betray my Lord. However, some ayat say this: don't you see that ye have been like nutfa, so in the womb you were just cells, and you were a very little one piece of meat in your mother's. You should go and look at that stage of your life, and then ponder upon this. So you have been like this, and then you have come into this condition, and judge those two conditions yourself, and you're gonna see that there should be some external agent, a creator, who can bring you from this situation to that situation. This applies to me, this applies to an object, this applies to an airplane. For example, if you go and look at the past of Western culture, I have taken that course which went through like early years of United States. And there you will see that there are a lot of people who are striving to survive. And most of the big companies that now are in the market, for example, Associated Press. So these people have gone through really, really terrible tribulations, and then upon their grasping a main to their cause, they could surmount all the problems that they faced. And Alavi made a good point. With the time of their disposition, they were making such a prayer, dua, that it was accepted by the Creator, by Allah. If I go to the history of any kind of technological miracle that is readily available at the moment, I would definitely see the same picture for all technological miracles. This is the case. So in that respect, maybe actually, I think you made a point. Remembering and understanding are different things. Hatırlamak, anlamak are different things. One faculty of human being is to remember. The same way as we ponder on those topics, maybe we should remember what we were, what I don't know, my friend was, or what this service was, this hizmet was, and then it will be more visible to me, and then it will be easier for me to say, Allah gave us. And if you look at wondrous people of Islam, you will see that they have pretty good memories. I mean, in order to make fruitful judgments, you should keep in the hands of your mind both past and present time.
And we should remember that technology is mercy of Allah, and the part of exam. Allah is giving the technology to us, and Allah is giving test with technology. We are in test. Doesn't display our power. We are taking exam. All these things.
If we are talking about the technology, can we compare a fly with let's say the F-16? Which one is better? Can a human being create a fly? Which one is easier? Within all this technology, can we create an apple?
Or do flies drop bombs on cities?
Yeah, even it's better. It really depends on. It depends, right? If you want to transport people, I think planes are better than flies. But but yeah, organically, yes, of course, you can create life.
I mean, we can also ask what the share of mankind in the creation of a plane is, and this goes back to Alavi's example, right? The famous example of the garden. In order for the garden to produce a plant, what you need is the sun, the soil, the air, the oxygen, the bacteria in the soil, everything, and man's share would be to let the water go or not. And if the man fails to open the channel, that's going to divert water there. The plant is not produced, but the sun, the soil, the bacteria, everything else was there. Man's share was just one. With regard to destruction, negativity, just forgetting to let the water go, right, is able to fail the creation, the production, the growth of the plant. But with regard to creativity, with regard to action, with regard to bringing something forth, right, the man's share is just 1 in 1,000, and we can apply the same thing to the airplane. What's the share of the mankind in the creation of the airplane? Mankind did not create gravity or the aerodynamics or the metals that are used in the airplane. So also, keep counting this. man's imagination is not his property, it's given to man. Man's intellect is not man's property, it's given to man. So if you don't attribute all of these to God, you are owning to something that does not belong to you, and what you acquire from it might be negativity because you go to the agency question. So yes, airplane is good, but is it man's creation? When you look from this point of view, airplane can be good, but is it man's creation? And also, airplane can be bad; it can drop bombs on people. That's very tested. That's very tested. But from the point of view of the fly, the fly just has been doing for millions or thousands, whatever years, what it's supposed to do, and that translates into glorifying God. So there is no negativity involved in that because there is no responsibility. With regard to mankind, there is responsibility, right? And therefore, mankind can easily surpass the animals with regard to negativity. With regard to positivity, with regard to creativity and bringing things forth, he can own only a very, very small share of that whole process.
So definitely it starts there. I believe what I understand is that in that point, I'm picking up this and putting here. If I give this as a credit to myself, okay, I'm doing this, and then it starts from there. But when we talk about greater things, there's a sentence here that reminded me what we talked here. Let me share it if I can find it with you. It says, then the I-ness, the ego of the human race, tenets, gives strength to the individual I-ness by means of human racialism and national racialism. And the I gaining support from the I-ness of the human race contests the commands of the glorious maker like Satan. So definitely it starts in my ego, my inner, but when I give the credits for the small things to myself, from there, starting from there, there's nothing to stop me. Then I start owning everything in the name of my race or my nation or the human being, what's that? So, for example, when I think about, let's say, Steve Jobs, he is genius, he did this, he found this, blah, blah, blah. If I really think that, does he have a share in that iPhone as much as the guy who found the antenna? Or let's think about, I don't know, a very super automobile, a car that's produced by BMW, let's say, and it goes with very little energy. The engineers who produce it, do they have the share as much as the guy who found the wheel, for example? I don't think so. But the one guy just comes there and he kind of owns or gets the credit for the whole 6,000 years of human advancement in a way, and he thinks that he did it, or we think that he did it. So this is kind of, I guess, a second phase of what you said. It starts definitely in the individual level, but when we put all together all these things, human looks like, oh, he's really great, he did this. But when we really think, I guess it's coming in the following remarks. Already brothers talked about it. He compares a bird or what was a sparrow, right, with a human being. So definitely, a human. For example, I have cats at home. She gave birth at age 1, has 6 kids, taking care of them very well. And then you have the, other, creatures around us. For a human being to come to that point, maybe he needs 30 years, and with the support of the whole society, surrounding people. But if we talk about it, most of the time we will get the credit to ourselves. I strive and I work hard for this. But the animal, by its fitra, knows that, it is God's given ability and he did it right away. But for us, it took long time, much dua, by action or by, verbally, but I'm getting the whole credit to myself. And plus, if you think about those bigger things, technological advancements, it is a constant 5,000 years of dua, for example, by billions and billions of people, but we just give the credit to one guy, Steve Jobs did it. Okay. Alhamdulillah.
In the glimpse, what we said is defined here. I cannot deny, as Saint says in the realm of dream, he says to a community, I cannot deny that there are numerous virtues in civilization, but they are neither the property of Christianity nor the invention of Europe, nor are they the product of this century. They are common property, produced by the conjunction of minds and ideas. So, as you said, I gave the example. So, they are not the product of this century. They are common property produced by the conjunction of minds and ideas from the laws of the revealed religions out of innate need, and particularly from the Islamic revolution brought about the Sharia of Muhammad. Yeah. So,
if we, think it with the miracles of prophets, of course, also, human being was supported with the divine guidance. Plus, in the topic, Ustad talks about, all the angels portraying Adam alayhi salam, but Shaitan did not. So, in a way, this represents that the whole creation is given to the, help or assistance of human being to achieve this goal, to be the best mirror to the manifestations of God's names. So with all these things, with his dua, he is supposed to be the best, mirror to the manifestation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Asma Husna, but when he tries to own them wrongfully, then the result could be the airplane bombing, people or even if the result is good, but you're kind of owning something or giving the credit wrongfully to yourself is wrong. Why it's wrong.
I think it was on second flash. Studies explaining the practice of Naqshi Tariqa, Yabaki and Talbaki for third flash. So there is studies explaining a feeling that is embedded in human's reality, which is human being is very eager to see perfection. Human being is a customer for perfection. He wants to see good things all around him, and he wants all kinds of goodness around him for her to persist. And the very immediate neighbor of ourselves is us again. So the closest thing to me, if I'm not very aware of my Creator Allah, then the first thing that is at the very vicinity, proximity of myself is my ML. So what happens because of this is, for example, if I make this phone, and because this phone definitely requires a doer maker, and this is something very nice. The doer maker of this should be someone who has some good capabilities, some abilities, but good qualities. Because my ego is, in my perspective, in wrong perspective, is the closest thing to me. I attribute all the abilities or qualities of the doer to myself. Maybe I was collaborating with some other people, But when it comes to advertising this phone, I say I did. The same applies to all kinds of attainments that that people without doing. So if it is an airplane that I make, I say that it was the Wright brothers and this Airbus or Boeing who makes all these miracles of technology. These guys are manufacturing. These guys are professionals. So if it is to give credit to, if we are supposed to give credit to someone, it is definitely Wright brothers or Boeing or Airbus we should credit. But in this picture, there is no Allah. So how this happens is, I see myself to be something that deserves praising. I deserve to be praised, and I apply this to other people. If I say with my brothers, Jalal did this, and through empathy, I say that Jalal did this, so Jalal should be someone very qualified, someone very qualified. But Allah is maybe the last thing that comes to mind. And instead of praising, we say Steve Jobs did this, or I did this, or some other brother did this. And this is due to my understanding to the fact that because of the fact that I'm a customer person, I want good things to persist over time, and I do not want to attribute those good things to something or someone that I do not see. However, if it is like me, if I attribute to myself, I'm gonna see myself every day in the mirror. Or if I attribute all these goods to Steve Jobs, then I will see it in the community all the time. However, since my creator is not visible to me, I forget and I do not attribute all those goodness to me.
So for the quintessence example, right, is that he steals something, he would only be happy if able to contempt, if his conscience would only be contempted if he gives out to the others. Right? Like, in that sense, I think ego, if someone really believes that I am capable of achieving this, I'm capable of designing this, I'm capable of producing something, in order to, if you, and human ego, in order to keep that, feeling up, he tends to also give that up to the human race, give that to the innovators, inventors of the sun. He tends to distribute that over to the whole humanity so that he can feel that ego, and he can keep that ego on himself intact. Otherwise, if he gives up what he is, and if he can analyze himself good enough, and then be able to give up that portion that he apparently is responsible to the creator, then it would probably be easier to just ascribe anything around him also to him.
So maybe I was confused a little bit, but to my understanding, the fact that I love things and I want goodness to persist because I am a customer for Decca for eternity. I want whatever pleasure I have to be assigned to something that I can always find. So it is my ana which is closest to me. If I attribute good things to myself, then the problem is apparently small, which is not right. However, as you mentioned, for me to attribute all these good things to myself, I should do the same. I should accept people attribute good things to themselves as well. And this way, all the credit is split to individuals like you, in earth. But since our fear of Allah is not visible, we forget Him, and only the agents, people who are visible, literally visible to us, get all these gifts because of this chain reaction. And it's because of this that Allah is always reminding us about Himself. There are 3 or 4 pillars in Quran. One is Tawheed. Allah is telling about Himself. The other is Nubuwwah, Prophet. The third is Akhirah, and for some it is justice, Adalah. So 1/3 or 1/4 of Quran is all about Allah directly, our Creator, so that we do not forget Him. If we forget Him, this is the chain reaction that happens.
Right question, yes, all men have 2 aspects. One is
Yes, all men, you have 2 aspects. One is that we're creating good acts, and good act and positivity. The other is the aspect of destruction, non-existence, evil, negativity, and passivity. With regard to the first aspect, you are lower than a bee or sparrow, and weaker than a spider or fly. Whereas in regard to the second aspect, you surpass the mountain, earth, and sky. You take on a burden before which they express their impotence, from which they shrank, and you assume a sphere more extensive and vaster than them. For when you create and do good, you are able to do so only to the extent of your own power and strength, and to the degree your hand can reach. But when you commit evil and destruction, then your evil overwhelms and your destruction spreads. For example, unbelief is an evil, a destruction, an absence of affirmation, but that single evil comprises insulting the whole universe, belittling all the divine name, and abusing all humanity. For these beings have elevated positions and important duties. Their dominical missives, divine mirrors, divine officials. But unbelief dismisses them from their rank of being mirrors, officials charged with duties, and bearing meaning, and reduces them to the level of futility, and being the plaything of chance. And through the destruction of death and separation, it lowers them to the degree of being swiftly decaying ephemeral matter, lacking all importance and value, to being nothing. So, through denial, it insults the divine names, the inscriptions, manifestations, and beauties of which are to be seen throughout the universe, and in the mirrors of beings. And it casts down a position more abased and weaker, more powerless and needy than the lowliest transient animal, the one who holds the rank of God's vicegerent, Khalifa, on earth, known as man. It casts down the lowliest transient animal, the one who holds the rank of God's vicegerent on earth, known as man. For man is a full of wisdom, proclaiming the manifestations of the same divine name. And a seed-like self-evident miracle of divine power, containing all members of an eternal truth, who, with assuming the supreme trust, rose to being higher than the earth, sky, and mountain, and gained superiority over the angels. It reduces him to the level of being a common signboard, lacking all meaning, confused, swiftly decaying. So if he doesn't own himself, give the credit to the real owner, keep the trust, is the most supreme creature, actually getting the fruit, getting in a way the credit, because he knows that he is not doing it and he's giving it back to its owner. But if he does it for his nafs, his soul, his ego, and tries to own it, he just loses everything at the end, I guess. He loses his rank, but not only he denies the rank of the whole creation, their important mission, but he also denies himself in a way. He falls to the laws of the Lord, but he is affected the most because of ephemerality or lack of mission or not fulfilling the duties.
Maybe first of all, we should be aware that the pillars over which this universe is standing on are names of Allah. For example, just suppose that Allah, for just an instant of time, stops manifesting Ismi Qayyum, then we will go to nothingness. Allah is keeping everything standing as a result of His name Qayyum, and if this name Qayyum is not manifested for a fraction of a second, then we will go to nothingness. So this is what I mean by that the universe is standing on some pillars, and these pillars are the names of Allah. So if we cut this relation, and if we do not base everything on names of Allah, then everything is going to be relative to each other. So we cannot find a reference point with respect to which we explain everything, because everything is relative to each other. For example, the sun is pulling me, but I'm pulling it too. For example, there should be some reference point which does not change because due to effect of others. There should be something that is stationary, that doesn't change at all. And it is Allah's names which doesn't change, because the attributes of Allah does not change. If we do not accept this, if we do not consider names of Allah being the reason of things, whatever it is, then everything is going to be relative. However, like for example, my left hand is pushing right hand, so I cannot really define the force in this case without. So I cannot define a reference point here. So this one is pushing this one is pushing this one. If I stop considering this one, then I cannot talk about the force, because without the second hand there is no force. So everything in the universe will be something like this if we do not consider a creator which is out of the universe, and a creator who does not change at all. And anything that is defined in relation to something else is doomed to go away, descend. It is going to go to nothingness at some point, because this relativity is going to change at some point. And when I pull my hand away, the force that I used to talk about is going to go to nothingness as well. So because of this, my understanding, a person who does not accept a creator who does not change at all has to define the universe around him in this way. And his mind is going to take him to the end of time and will say that everything is going to go to nothingness. So if it is going to go to nothingness eventually, then any picture that I see in this universe does not deserve to be attributed a significant meaning. Whatever interpretation that I make, it is going to go to nothingness with the rest of this universe. So this is just a playground. I think this is the situation that Ustad is, this is what I can understand. This is kind of the picture that Ustad is drawing here. We are vicegerent of this earth. But who is defining this, right? Allah is defining us to be the Khalif of ours. And this is only available if Allah is there. Allah gives us this duty. And also, if this is a duty, there should be end of duty. And at the end of, after this duty is completed, I should be either given extra promotion or should be given punishment. So there should be akhirah. This goes on like this. If I start explaining things in this universe by taking my Lord's Allah's names as the basis, then even my vicegerent is going to go to nothingness. I think Ayatul Kubra, at the second half of Ayatul Kubra, Ustad is talking about those like it goes on like this. For example, to my understanding, these are the pillars that Allah, these are the pillars that keeps the universe up and working.
In short, in regard to destruction and evil, the evil commanding soul has commit infinite crimes, but concerning creativity and good, its power is extremely little and partial. Yes, he may destroy a house in one day, while it cannot be built in 100. However, if the soul gives up egoism and seeks good and existence from divine assistance, and if it forgoes evil and destruction, and relying on the nafs, and seeking forgiveness becomes a true slave, and seeking forgiveness becomes a true slave of Allah, then it will manifest the meaning of the verse, Allah will change their evil into good. Its infinite capacity for evil will be transformed into an infinite capacity for good. It will acquire the value of the most excellent of patterns and ascend to the highest of the high. So the same thing I did could be both. In a way, Allah can just accept it as a good act, or
First of all, I think the partial is not enough. Power is extremely little and partial. The original word is duty.
power is extremely little and partial. Small.
Partial means really shaping something. But it depends on the bigger, the power, the real power. In that respect, it's subject to the power.
It's opposite of green universe. Partial universe.
It might be a reference to the human partial will or human free will, what they call irade juz'iyya. I think that's a reference to that. And the definition of irade juz'iyya is the inclination. So all the man takes out of that is the mayala inclination. I think that's a reference to that. Yeah. Man's share it as I mean, he is using the term because of the established terminology. And I think the translation is because that's usually translated as human partial will.
maybe it was written in italic or something.
Yeah, I mean, it can be explained in the footnote.
Its infinite capacity for evil will be transformed into an infinite capacity for good. And it will acquire the value of the most excellent of patterns, ascent of wind, and ascend to the highest of the high. O heedless man, see Almighty Allah's munificence and generosity. Although it will be justice to record one evil as 1,000, and a single good deed as one, or not at all, he records a single evil as one, and a single good deed as 10, and sometimes as 70 or 700, or even sometimes as 7,000. You will also understand from this remark that to be sent to hell, which is so dreadful, is retribution for the deed and pure justice, while to be sent to paradise is pure generosity. Allah.
Anything you want to add?
How do you confirm what's stated in the last paragraph? How do we know that?
How do we know?
A single evil as one, and we lead as how do I confirm? How do I confirm?
What do you mean?
You mean narration? You mean the sound narration?
I should be convinced that it must be really true. I should conclude that.
One thing is when I commit a sin, there are cases I don't feel really terrible. If Allah were writing one sayyah as like 100,000 hasanat, it would have an effect on me. Allah would make me experience a hellish state even in this world. And the other one is when I do even a very small work, then Allah gives me in the level of emotion, gives me this I feel relaxed. I think these signs that I can. But otherwise, this is something that is due to a hadith. So Rasulullah is calling these things to the references, the hadith. But if the question is how come can I confirm this, knowing that hadith is saying this, I think if I do something wrong, in order to turn me from committing the same thing again and again, Allah is giving me some bad feelings. But if I lie, I feel bad. If I do something good, then in order to give me support, Allah is giving me good feelings. Encouragement. Allah is creating good feelings in my chest. This might be taken as
The immediate spiritual.
spiritual.
But the mature insight, I guess, is the chapter that we just went through, because if you don't give any credit to yourself, but still you're receiving some good, that shows that, Allah just gives it out of His compassion. But if, I must take the responsibility of my evils, because most of the time it is lacking something or living aside something, or my laziness, or my not doing my duty, most of the time it's caused by my what do we call it, abstaining, something negligence. So it shows that and sometimes Allah still protects me from big trouble. Or I know that it's my mistake. So I can compare it, I guess, to God too. Even in this world, in the material realm, we could see it.
You cannot compare it's 9 or 10 or 70, but not 58. You cannot compare that.
In the sense that literally it should be one.
And it doesn't also give a constant number, a fixed number. It could be, multiple.
But at least taking it, it's like this side is too much heavier than.
Yeah, I mean, for that you have to rely on the scripture narrations, but you can reason that paradise is not deserved, hell is deserved. Right? Paradise is not deserved, but it's coming out of the generosity of God. You can reason for that because of your share that you had. We just went over in bringing forth good, bringing about good. Your share in bringing about good is very small, therefore you cannot deserve a reward for it. That's like paradise. You can reason that. But the other part, the 10, 70, you cannot. But you can reason that God is giving me in return for the smallest part that I took in this, which is limited to my inclination, my choice in using my human partial will. Right? God is giving me something bountiful, something big in return for that. You can reason that. And then the numbers you have to rely on narration.
In the Colossians, maybe touching to this point, there is a question and a very short answer. It is understood from this is 13th flash, 12th invocation. It is understood from the above explanations that since evils become numerous through spreading and aggression, a single evil deed should be recorded as 1,000, causing very great destruction. While since they pertain to existence, good deeds do not become numerous, and since they do not appear through the servant's creation or the desire of his soul, they should not be recorded at all, or they should be recorded only as one. So why are evil deeds recorded as one, and good deeds are as 10 and sometimes as thousands? Very short answer. Almighty Allah demonstrates His perfect mercy and beauty of His compassionateness in that way. So we are, explained it. We are not deserving. So in fact, Allah from His favor giving us the bounty.
And then you may want to confirm, why am I going to assume that I'm going to receive any favors? Like, is there going to be a paradise? Right? And that's a whole discussion, and you can read the 10th word. Not talk about it, but I suppose we are assuming here that there is a paradise out there, and then we are talking about confirming what we get from what we acquire from what we do here.
Do we have the right to try to confirm or to ask about that confirmation? We have done a question. The good things that you have done, did not even account for the things that is happening around you. And also the bad things you have already did something which has caused a lot of destruction and chaos at some point. Destruction is very bigger than your action. And then you're trying to confirm how many, for example, sins or whatever is counted on your credits down in the other world. Okay.
There is no other point. We don't start it.
much. It's nice to meet you.